Aso Rock under pressure as Buhari Pampers Ganduje. President Muhammad Buhari is certainly a man under pressure, but the demand of the office are not such that he can abandon except his health fails him. Last week, he had the task of responding to COVID-19 crisis in Kano State. In doing so, he assured the people of Kano that he will not let them down. This followed the several mysterious deaths recorded within a week in the state. The president's assurance was contained in a statement issued by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu. The president and his government are with the people of Kano State and will not let them down. If there is reason to believe that the mortality rate in Kano due to COVID-19 is out of control, it will spell a serious development to which the best action will be for the federal government and state government to work more tightly together to find solution and implement together. The situation in Kano is no doubt one of national emergency. The president's show of empathy was not unexpected. Indeed, nothing less would have been expected from the father of the nation. Nonetheless, the Kano situation has presented an intricate case. On the one hand, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje is largely perceived to have underperformed in managing the coronavirus pandemic, choosing irresponsible to live in denial when the unexplained deaths began to manifest in the city. On the other hand, he has also received serious knocks for creating the impression that he was mostly interested in a certain 15 billion support from government when he had exercised little of no initiative in building infrastructure for containment of the health crisis. Ganduje looks to have carried on like an overfed baby, and many think that the president is pampering him and the dear situation in Kano. This claim gained weight in Buhari's approval to ease the lockdown in the state after the governor, who had shown absolute lack of control, persuaded a relaxation of the measures. It was Abba Antwa, the chief press secretary to Kano State's governor, Umar Ganduje, who betrayed the president in a statement when he stated that Buhari had given a nod for the realization of the lockdown. To allow for some free movement of people for some hours on Mondays and Thursday, we sought for the consent of Mr. President on how to relax the lockdown to allow for some free movement of people, but within stipulated hours of the agreed days. The statement reads in part: as father of the nation, President Buhari must be seen to be firm and not pamper some people in authority when it is obvious that they are manifesting lack of leadership skills. The time to speak truth to Ganduje is now, for him must be told that the sorry state of the COVID-19 war in Kano owes largely to his visionlessness. In making the 2020 Workers' Day, President Muhammadu Buhari asserted that his government will ensure that no employee or employer, especially in the private sector, will retrench workers without following due process. The president's address to mark Workers' Day celebration was read by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, during a virtual meeting with Labour leaders in adherence with the social distancing policy. Thank you for listening to this news. Well, I would say that of a truth, it is very appalling and painful what the Kano um, state is experiencing. Just like I said earlier, that this period Kano State is actually seriously in need of help, and the federal government should, with immediate effect, come to their aid. But this doesn't mean that Governor Ganduje should be given that kind of pamper that the president is just demonstrating on him. I know that Ganduje is I know what Ganduje is expecting and looking for from the president, but whatsoever the federal government is able to release for the upkeep and maintenance of this lockdown period in Kano State, I will say that the government of Kano State should make do with it. You understand? And to add to it, I would say that the most significant should be mostly on the health wise of the citizens, most especially the infected ones, and also um, they should start looking for a lasting solution concerning what is actually causing this massive death in Kano. Who knows? It might be something that is still different, or something that is not truly COVID-19 that is truly killing them. That is why I said a proper research of a proper research should be carried out on what is truly killing the people in Kano State, because if you look at other states that actually experience this COVID-19 attack, they were not this attack as the people of Kano State were attacked. And even with the way the COVID-19 reacts in a state, it didn't actually react the way it reacted in Kano State. This the part the people of Kano State's own part, believe you me, is outrageous and unbelievable. So that is why I was still of the opinion that they should still look for something. They should still make their research, because it is possible that something else may be what is killing them, and they will be recording it as COVID-19 cases, just as it has been in Lagos State. You understand? You know, normally it was recorded in Lagos State that most of the people that died in Lagos State truly died of malaria. But Lagos State on their own recorded it as COVID-19 case. You can see. So that is error result. Are you getting it? So for to avoid such occurrence, I'm suggesting that they carry out a proper research of that. And to add to that, I want to crave the indulgence of the citizen of Kano State to keep to instructions left behind for them by the federal government. You know, one of the very thing that will help to um, quickly reduce this infection and massive death in Kano State is when they are able to stick to instruction, keep to instructions, do as instructed. You know, obedience, they say, is better than sacrifice. As they have been told to remain indoor, they should remain indoor. And the ones that are able to assist those in need should start doing so before the intervention of the federal government, because the federal government, I won't lie to you, from experience, the delay for provision of palliatives is what wasn't encouraging, and they were able to meet up with some parts, while some parts they never gave anything to, unlike the southeasterns and south people were not even given anything apart except the northerners and the westerners. You can see. So anyone who is capable of seeing how to assist should start doing so. At least that can help to ease off um, a little hunger. I get them, because hunger is another very bad sickness that affects people. within this period. So, viewers, with this little opinion, I would say that please, your own opinions are also very important. Don't forget to leave them behind.